why.
What I will do.
You have to zoom. Yeah, you have to zoom the slides, or you can request someone to read. I will read the slides for you.
No, it's okay. You know, I can put the slides up on my other computer, so I can see the slides as you're going through them. I have the slides up on this computer. Happiness and misery.
That's
Everybody
nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good then.
Is that
Very
okay?
Good. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Absolutely fine.
Wonderful. Okay. So I think we're okay now. Lovely.
I'll share the screen.
How is everything there?
Very fine.
Good? Good. Lalabai and Vasan Kaka is there? Vasan Dada?
They'll join shortly.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. And very good. And yes, I will definitely call upon you to assist in the readings.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
You are okay with that?
Yeah, ma'am, definitely.
We will work as a team.
Yeah.
So there's another conference going on, I understand, for counseling with Lalabai.
Lalabai will come shortly.
Yeah, but there's another conference that he's doing.
No, not. I'm not sure whether he is doing any other conference because he did not discuss about it.
Oh, no, because I saw on the chat that there is a counseling.
I see. Yeah. That is on 30th of March.
I see.
It is for all associates. It is offline.
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
For everybody to learn and to share what works, what does not work, and how to be supportive of somebody who is going through a crisis.
Right.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Welcome, Rishik sir. Open up. See, last time, Rishik sir, you had taken the 4 force within, right? So this one is in sequel to that. Now come sufferings. If 4 force, that deceitfulness, anger, if a person doesn't remove them, this is the result, sufferings. It is in sequel. Welcome, Kati Krishna Panigriji ji.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Namaste.
Namaste, welcome. We will start shortly. We have still 5 minutes. Let me put one gentle reminder on WhatsApp. The meeting has started. Please join. This is English. I think it is 6 o'clock in USA, California. Oh. Unmute, please.
We had daylight savings time. So because it is spring now, we sprung forward. So it is now 6:56 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah. So 1 hour forward than last time.
Right.
Not quite as early.
Right.
And I don't think there was a reminder in JSSY WhatsApp chat either. So I don't think anybody is aware on this front either.
Actually, what happens in India, 7:30 means 7:40. People join 10 minutes late.
In the Indian Standard Time.
Yes, Indians learned a lot from foreigners, but except this thing. Other things they learn, the hairstyle and the coat and tie and all these things, but punctuality they forgot to learn. Welcome. Now, Lala Sahib. Lala Sahib has just joined us, huh?
Okay. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Hello.
Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand. WhatsApp માં આ પોસ્ટ નથી થયું ને JSSY માં
ઓહો. હા,
રિમાઇન્ડર નથી
કરી દઈએ. હા, 1 મિનિટ રહી ગયો. તમે ક્યારે કરી?
अभी क्या माने सीसी इंग्लिश में कॉलर में से ले लीजिए
JSSY માં હું કરતો હતો ને, કરી દીધી.
હા Chandrakantji was telling us about Indian Standard Time.
Sorry?
Chandrakantji, you were telling us about Indian Standard Time.
Yeah. It is exactly 7:30 now, huh? We are going to start.
No, I'm not bothered at all. Not bothered at all. So no worries. Let us give 5 to 10 minutes. Let everybody that might want to be a part of the discussion.
See, it is because today is your session. Many joined punctually.
No,
Yes.
that
We have 10
we can never
participants now.
take
See,
credit.
before
Yeah.
7:30 we have 10 participants. People want to get rid of sufferings, which is too much. Huh, Rishik sir? Very fine. Yes, we can start. It is 7:30 exactly now. Let's be punctual. Let us recite the prayer. Om Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Loe Savva Sahunam, Eso Pancha Namukkaro, Savva Pavappanasano, Mangalanam Cha Savesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand. A cordial welcome to all of you for HSRC English webinar. Our today's topic is sufferings, and today's speaker, you know her very well, Ms. Shaila Mulji from California, USA. Well, in today's session, we will have the answers to some questions which remain unanswered. This will be an elaborative session on sufferings, and there is nobody in the world which has no sum or the reason behind this. I request Shaila Mulji madam to take up the session, please. I'll be there to navigate and to change the slide whenever you say, madam. And I would like to request some participant to help us reading the slides. Okay. Thank you very much. Shaila ma'am, over to you.
Namaskar and Jai Satchidanand to all the participants who have joined. It shows that you value your human life, your human existence. You understand how important every breath of our human life is, that you're investing this time to learn and share about suffering. Because the thing that I have learned from Dada Bhagwan and from Kanu Dadaji in my lifetime is that suffering is our greatest teacher. And a lot of people would say that sounds completely ludicrous. But let me ask you all to do one thing before we start this session so you can gain the maximum benefit from this session. So if I may ask, if each of you would think of one incident, one event in your life that challenged you the most, that brought you the most misery and perceived unhappiness, and in the back of your mind, in the back of your consciousness, be thinking about what were the 3 number 1 virtues or positive traits that you possess that carried you through that incident, through that suffering, through that misery. Okay? And I will begin the session, Chandrakantji. Happiness and misery. Everybody is in search of happiness. From the time we are born, we're searching for happiness. When we're a baby, we just want comfort. We want to be fed. We want to be loved. And we want to be cared for. Yeah. But as we grow older, our needs become much greater. And unfortunately, as we go through life, we allow others to define happiness. We don't take the time to think for ourselves, what is it that makes us happy? Why are we here? And what does happiness mean for us? So that's a short exercise that's really valuable for each of us to do. And the people of the world, the so-called joys and happiness that people live for, like vacations and material things, buying nice clothes, going to nice places, going to restaurants, having good meals. Those are all pleasures. They are definitely pleasures. Nobody denies that, but they are temporary. They come and they go. And typically, a pleasure will be followed by an equal and opposite reaction of pain. We don't realize that when we're enjoying the pleasure, but that is the law of Einstein. An equal and opposite reaction is always, of Newton's law, is always going to be there. So happiness, actually, in the true sense, should be something that's never followed by unhappiness or misery. And all of our suffering, at the end of the day, is a result of our own wrong beliefs. Chandrakantji, if you would go to the next slide, please.
Yeah.
So, as we were saying, people find enjoyment in very trivial things. Someone will take a vacation. They'll go to a place up in the mountains. It'll be cold. Their blanket will be too short. Their feet won't be covered. But to them, it feels like a vacation. They perceive this as happiness, when in actuality, it's an escape. They're just trying to get away so that they can hear their own thoughts and be in solitude, so they can try to connect with their own real self. And that's why they try to go on a vacation or get away from the so-called perceived unhappinesses in their life. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
So what is true suffering? Dada Bhagwan had said that that which we cannot change cannot be perceived as suffering. So early on, when I met Dada Bhagwan, I took the exercise of writing down all the things that I cannot change in my life. Who I was born into, the family I'm born into, the siblings that I have, the body and mind that I'm born with. All of those things are things that were provided to me by Mother Nature and by my own deeds. So, what is true suffering? True suffering is those who don't even have their basic needs met. They don't have food, they don't have shelter, they don't have anybody who cares for them, they don't have their social, emotional, physical, mental, and emotionally and spiritual needs being met. That is called true suffering. A lot of our suffering is because of our wrong beliefs and our misunderstandings about life. True misery is if we're hungry and we don't get food. So yes, this body, this being that exists in this body will experience misery because it needs nourishment. But unfortunately, we suffer from miseries that we create ourselves. Next slide, please.
Yeah.
So in today's world, we suffer since endless time. There has been adi, vyadi, and upadi. Vyadi is mental agonies. Adi is the sufferings that we suffer from our own mind and our own emotions. Physical agonies are when we have pain, like we have a toothache, or we have our eyes become bloodshot, or we have a stomach ache, something physical that can be felt as physical pain. And then there are the sufferings, upadi, which are considered sufferings that arise from external forces. We happen to be sitting quietly and somebody comes and throws an insult at us, or just picks a fight with us, or criticizes us, or says something to us that is that agitates our peace. So we all suffer from, in today's world, with this environment that we've been in for the past almost 3 years of a COVID environment, there's been a lot of isolation. There's been a lot of illness. And as a result, the mental pain and mental illnesses have increased significantly in humans. And a lot of them stem from so many different things, from emotional, mental, and traumas, people that have suffered loss. So these sufferings are something that we each individually, if we make a choice that we want to heal and we want to live our lives as whole humans with well-being, then like this course, like the tools that Holistic Science Research Center offers, we will find the resources if we make the choice that we don't want to suffer, but rather we want to live a life of well-being. So the universe will bring those things to us if we make that choice and that decision. But if we just sit with the fact that, oh, you know what, suffering is something that I was destined for. Who is not able to hear, please indicate. Chandrakanji, I think people are having trouble hearing.
Shweta, Bhavsar madam, every time this happens, ma'am, you need to check properly.
Voice is okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, everybody can listen.
Wonderful.
I think the problem, there is some technical issue with Shweta Bhavsar ma'am.
Yeah, Miss Shweta might have a technical issue of
it
her
might be
own.
not, it might not be upgraded Zoom app, or she might not have some audible input.
She can try on YouTube.
Well, in this YouTube link we cannot yet share.
Okay.
May I continue?
Please.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Voice is
Okay,
clear.
so most of our sufferings are self-created. We hold ourselves, most of us, we hold ourselves to a high standard. And most of us are raised with parents that hold us to very high standards as well. And so I think the biggest thing that we can do is, number one, accept ourselves and our lives for what they are, and work with the tools that we've been given. I'm sorry, was there a comment?
You can watch live stream on YouTube. Yes, I'm going to share YouTube link shortly.
Oh, okay.
Please continue. Those who cannot get sound audio on YouTube Zoom, we will share YouTube link for them. Okay, in the chat box I am going to share shortly. Please
Okay,
continue.
wonderful.
Please continue.
Thank you, Chandrakantji. So most of our sufferings, if you have food, shelter, clothing, you have a good family, you have a few friends, then most of your basic needs are covered. If you have opportunity to be educated, to learn, then you've already got most of your basic needs. So a lot of our sufferings are self-created. Most of our sufferings are self-created in that we compare our lives to other people's lives. Comparison leads to suffering. As Buddha once said, pain is inevitable and suffering is a choice. Now, I wanted to share one small example. Yesterday, I was interacting with clients, and I asked the client, I said, so how are you doing today? They said, I can't complain. I'm doing fine. I've been diagnosed with a brain tumor, with cancer, and I've been going through chemotherapy and radiation, but I'm doing great. And I thought to myself, I said,
God.
what a wonderful attitude. Like, people do have real suffering, and yet, what was it about this person that allowed them to say to me that they're still doing great? And I thought about it a little bit and thought, it's their perception. They were so grateful that they still had their life. They were grateful that they were receiving the medication and the treatment that they needed. They were grateful for the life that they have, that they've lived, and all the lessons that they're learning from their current experience. So it made me really realize how the human spirit has so much power and so much strength. And a lot of our suffering is due to our own perception. If we just make a decision that there's nothing but blessings and lessons in our life, then every day becomes a new adventure for us. And we doesn't have to be suffering. It can be nothing but becoming a student of the universe and learning new things and becoming better every day as a human being. So this person taught me something really, really beautiful. And I'm so grateful that I had that interaction. And to be true, I actually had two chemotherapy cancer patients yesterday, and they both had such a positive and amazing attitude. And it gave me so much inspiration that mankind, at the end of the day, has the power to transform their own lives, with or without eternal knowledge from a Gnani Purush. As a human, we have so much power. Okay, next slide, please.
Yeah.
So Dadashri says that, as we were talking about, that everything is relative. It depends on where you're sitting and what your perception is and what you've experienced in your life. For somebody who has never been out of their small town, whether it's in a village or whether it's in a small town in the United States or in a different country, for them, all they've ever seen is what they know through their mind, speech, body. but for others, maybe they've seen more. So depending on your perception and your experiences, um, you're going to perceive happiness and misery differently. So what I would put to you is if you create a journal of your so-called perceived sufferings, and then on a daily basis for a month, you evaluate, is this really a suffering, or is this something that I'm perceiving as a suffering because I don't want to heal from it, or I don't want to overcome it? Because I don't want to grow. I'm afraid of growing as a human. These are things that I've always asked myself. I had many, many challenges. I'm not going to say my life has been challenge free, um, and, and they continue to come. What I've realized is when you make a decision that you want to live your best life and you want to become an optimal human and you want to realize your real self, that the universe will present many challenges for you. And if you view them as challenges and opportunities, then they don't become suffering, but they become lessons. And this has been my own personal experience. And I can share more examples if anybody wishes to hear some. But um, for example, in 2010, my family and I, we were in more than $500,000 in debt. My husband had made some bad decisions. And at that time, and through the grace of my Guru Dev, Dada Bhagwan, and my Divine Father, Param Pujya Shri Kanu Dadaji, I was able to gather a lot of wisdom and insightful windows into how Lakshmi Ji, how wealth works in our lives. And so instead of becoming defeated, I took to heart what he had taught us about our intentions, our inner heartfelt intent. And my intention was only to clear the debt and to come out of the situation that we had come to by many reasons, and taking responsibility for what had happened. And today I can honestly say that we came out of the situation and that we are no longer in any such situation. But that experience alone has allowed me to become so much more grateful and have a more depth of understanding about what true wealth is in our lives. So Dadaji also talks about what are the reasons behind our sufferings. When we engage in anything that is not entitled to us, especially with sensual pleasures, that will give us direct hellish sufferings in this life itself. So that's something that we need to be very, very careful of and aware of. Whether we are married or unmarried, being true to ourselves meaning being true to everybody in our lives. So whatever suffering that we have, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, or social, it is a reaction of what we had given out ourselves. It's our own echo coming back at us. So Dadaji warns us that whatever you like, make sure that that is what you're giving out. And suffering results when we take ownership of our egoism. Our egoism becomes our greatest enemy. Without egoism, nobody can live. We cannot get out of bed. But is it in a humble place? Is it in a humane place? Have we made the decision that we don't want to hurt anybody through our mind, speech, body assembly, so that we can be the best human that we want to be? And additionally, when we surround ourselves around people who might be engaged in bad habits or are leading a life that maybe is not in their highest best interest, that effect will immediately reflect upon us as well. Who we surround ourselves with does impact our quality of our life as well. One thing that I've learned is it's not so much who is in your surroundings, because a lot of us, we have jobs, we have careers where it's not always in our control who we work with or who we are. We don't decide who we're born into. We have in a very karmic manner, but here we're here and now. So who we're surrounded by is really less important than who we hold in our hearts, because who we hold in our hearts impacts our consciousness more than even who might be in front of us or in our own homes. So the quality of our own thoughts and our own perceptions and how we view ourselves also is reflective of our company. If we hold Dadaji in our hearts and we hold him as our guide, that there's nothing more elevating than that. And that's been my experience. So if we take the time to accept ourselves as we are, then I think it's easier to accept those around us as they are, and we become less prone to picking on other people, finding their faults, criticizing, even mentally when we view, say, a family member and we think something negative, immediately that negative thought is going to have an impact on that person. So according to Dadaji, we are pure soul. We are ourselves Bhagwan or God. So how can we experience that? By taking that inward journey. And so the path of worldly beliefs is full of suffering, because if the entire world is walking off a cliff and we follow them, if we think like the masses and walk in that manner, then what's going to happen? We're going to approach a cliff as well in our lives. So I would ask each of you to consider, do you think that the masses on this planet are walking in the direction of well-being and health, optimal health, or do you think they're walking in a different direction? And the people that you listen to and that you look up to and follow, are they living a life of well-being and that you feel that you would like to aspire to? At the end of the day, we're responsible for ourselves and we have to make those decisions for ourselves. But for me, one of the key things that has allowed me to pass through many, many challenges, both social, family, financial, and in many aspects, even personal, is making the decision that I want to live a life of well-being and live as a human that is experiencing optimal well-being and humanity. So the decision, I think, is critical, a firm conviction. And so one of the last things on this slide is about criticizing religious beliefs. I wholeheartedly agree with that. One of Dada Bhagwan's second diamonds is not to criticize or put down the religion in any way, shape, or form, no matter what religion it is, because at the end of the day, all religions, their goal is to live the best human life possible, to bring the art of living a harmonious and positive life into manifestation. That's the purpose of all religions. The pathways to the sun are numerous, but the goal is one, is just to live a life of peace and joy and harmony. So next slide, please. Now, how to lessen suffering. So how many of us have, Chandrakantji, I think it's the next slide. One more slide. There we go. So I understand we have many teachers here, and you are all always thinking about your students, I would presume, and how not only can you be a great role model, but how can you also help them to live their optimal life and add value to their lives. That's a very noble thing. And so if we, as a teacher or as a human, can actually live a life that is not ridden with misery and suffering, then yes, that becomes an example for the other people in our lives. And Dada Bhagwan always said that if you had made a mistake at some point, whether it's in this lifetime or in a past lifetime, unfortunately, you will have to suffer the results of those mistakes. However, you are not your mistakes. You are a human being with a soul. Most of us here believe that we have a soul. And our purpose is to continually elevate our consciousness so that we can rise above the suffering. A jivatma, or a living being, whether it's a human or an animal or a plant, any entity has suffering, because suffering is an integral part of being a living entity. But we have, because we are human beings, we have the ability to rise above that suffering through our consciousness level. So if we elevate our consciousness through inner understanding, through the guide of our gurus and our mentors and leaders, and people who are there to help us, like our parents, then we are able to elevate our consciousness and shift our perception to understand that we are here as a result of our own deeds, whether they be merit deeds or debit deeds. And everything that we experience in this lifetime, at some point, we asked for it. And so if we take it as a lesson and say, hey, can I please have my lesson? When I had I want to share one of the biggest things that happened to me that I thought was going, like what felt for this person felt like it was going to destroy me. The first thing I did, I said to Dada, Dada, please, I just want my lesson. And from that moment forward, it took 4 years for that lesson to fully come full circle for me. But because I asked for my lesson, I received it. And, fortunately, Kanu Dadaji was a big part of my life for many, many years. And I can never express the gratitude that I have for my Divine Father. But he asked me to write an essay on the sufferer is at fault. And so that essay has been published and it is available. And Chandrakantji, if you have it, you're welcome to share it if somebody wants to read it. But I'm so grateful because when a Gnani Purush gives you a precept, an agna, basically what they're giving you is their grace. So my life, I can say, has been full of grace. And there's nothing more beautiful than grace and humbling than grace. So if we go to the next slide.
Please.
when someone hurts us, when someone feels hurt, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, I guess the most important thing is to put ourselves in their shoes and think for ourselves that receive what was given to you. And we can very quickly assess within ourselves, oh, was that something that really applies to me? Or is this a person just letting out some form of pain or suffering of their own? So if we are always connected to our inner world, we're able to quickly assess and not respond in a manner that's reactive. So responding and reacting are two different things. When we respond, then we have correctly received what was given to us by somebody and processed it before giving a response. But when we react, then it's coming from a place of egoism. So I think what this slide is trying to say to us is to take a pause when someone says something to us that might seem confrontational or negative or accusing of us in some way. Then we may want to take a pause and evaluate before we respond. So I think taking a pause is the most important thing before we respond to anything that's perhaps negative or confrontational with somebody else. I don't know about you, but I think we've all experienced adversity in our lives, in the workplace, in the home, in our interpersonal relationships, in our closest relationships with our partners. And so taking a pause is always, for me, has always been the best solution, and maybe even asking our whoever we believe in to help us and guide us. The next slide, please.
Yeah.
So sadly, suicide is not an end to suffering. I'm sure in the US, unfortunately, we have rising rates of suicide. It is something that's real. The military, they have hundreds that are committing suicide on a daily basis in this country.
My God. Oh.
Yeah, it's a very real thing. And it's sad. And that it's because their psyches have been so badly damaged and they don't have the tools. They don't know how to overcome and deal with the images and the experiences, the PTSD that their bodies and their minds emotionally and mentally have been through. So every day I do send out a prayer, and I spend some time praying for those who are going through these type of traumas, because according to Dada Bhagwan, taking your own life is the worst thing you can ever do, because human life is such a priceless gift and you cannot put a price tag on it. It's not easy to come by. And fortunately for us, we have been given so much, and it's so important to be aware of the gifts we've been given and share them in any way that we can. Incidentally, even a kind word, listening to somebody, holding space for them, allowing them to share their grief. All of those things can save a life. And I've personally experienced that in my life on many occasions, I would say. So I would say, thank goodness that we have what we have. But no matter how difficult a time any of us may be going through, suicide is definitely not the answer. And if we ever have thoughts of that, we want to quickly, not necessarily extinguish those thoughts, But actually, if you have somebody that you can talk to somebody about it. Talk to somebody you respect and hold at an esteem, and work through it, and go through that thought process, because those are thoughts that maybe are not just from this life, but are from many lifetimes that have been plaguing somebody. So very important to address those kind of thoughts. So if you want to be happy, peaceful, and free from all worries, you really have to know your real self. You have to take your inward journey. And one of the upsides of everything that we've been going through on this planet as a humanity, COVID, all these wars, the suffering, the agony, is that a lot of people have come to a point which they called ground zero, where the bottom, and they are forced to take that inward journey. That's not necessarily a bad thing, unless you don't have the tools and you don't have anybody to guide you and help you and navigate. So taking the inward journey is definitely worth it. And suicide is never an answer. Human life is priceless. Next slide, please. So is there anybody within us who can say that they've never had suffering due to clashes in the home? Anybody? Okay. So, and I can say the same. And thankfully, for the gifts of having this this group, the Gurudev that we have, all the wonderful wisdom that was imparted by Kanu Dadaji and Dada Bhagwan, and all of the wonderful people at the Holistic Center, Lalabai Sahib, Vasant Uncle, Vasant Dada, as he's fondly known, Chandrakant Ji, and all the teachers. We have been able to share different ways that we can avoid suffering due to clashes. And I'll be the first one to say that marriage is 100% a way for the universe to find you the exact match for you to overcome your greatest faults and weaknesses. And we've been married over 36 years, and we have 3 grown sons. And I'll be the first one to say that we probably have had every challenge that you can possibly think of. And thank goodness and the universe for the ones we don't have. But I would say that through the grace of God and family and friends and this wonderful community, we have been able to overcome a lot of those challenges. Clashes, I've noticed, are when we fail to accept ourselves wholeheartedly, because we hold ourselves to a standard that is not realistic. And when we accept ourselves the way we are, then we can offer that same scope to those who are closest to us. And that brings down all the defenses, and it allows people to open up, and it makes us more humble and gentle in the way that we communicate with other people in our homes. So that's what's worked for me, is especially with our 3 sons. Since they were young, I would always say to them that you and me, we can learn from each other. Let's work together so we can live our best lives. And that approach has always worked well for me. And now that they are older, I can honestly say that so many times they will give me back the same messages that I was giving them. And I find it very amusing and very heartwarming when I'm getting that kind of wonderful love and caring from our young adults. So next slide, please. dealing with people, accepting the realities of life. You know, I'll be the first one to say I'm not the most easy personality on the planet to get along with. It took me a long time to get along with myself. So everybody on this planet is a unique personality. And the moment that we accept our own personality as it is, that's the moment that we start embracing everybody else's personalities in our lives. Everybody's going to view different situations in a different way. And it's so wonderful to be able to see things from other people's perspectives as well, because it opens our world. For me, to hear about how some of you teach in India, and how the challenges that you face and the perceptions that you have, it helps me to keep a broader view. So our personalities are going to continually evolve and keep changing as well, based on what we fed into the universal cosmic computer as by way of our own karmas. So I think the greatest lesson to learn in accepting the realities of life and practicing acceptance is to make a decision that we want to be more and more closer to the center, and less with a fixed opinion. Because when we open our minds and we open our hearts, we're able to understand from within the perspectives of other people. And it helps us to grow as well in our humanity and avoid clashes with other people. I've worked my whole life in a very universal community. I've been surrounded by all kinds of different nationalities, different types of people. And what I've learned is the language that's universal to everybody is kindness and compassion. And if we cultivate that in our hearts, we'll find the words. The words will come to us that need to be conveyed to people, to let them know that we want to partner to live a more humane and better life. So I would invite, last slide, please, or the self-enlightening dictums of Dada Bhagwan. May I invite one of our participants, anyone who would like to
Rishik sir. Rishik
Yes,
sir,
sir.
please unmute yourself and read it.
Yes, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay. So the first point is, the world has run on its error of illusionary justice only. One comes across such judges in the world in every nook and corner. But the real of human karmas rests only on one dictum. The sufferer is at fault. Sufferer is at fault. The whole world runs on this rule of justice. Bhogve teni bhul.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. No one has the secret knowledge in the world, and what everyone knows is the causal ignorance leading one drifting endlessly. Who suffers if someone steals your money? Why the other didn't lose money? The one who suffers alone is paying back outcome of one's own past faults ultimately. Self-enlightening dictum number 122. Does anyone want to read the next one?
Yeah, Rishik sir, again please.
Yes, I am, sir. So no one has the secret knowledge in the world, and what everyone knows is the causal ignorance, leading one drifting endlessly. Who suffers if someone steals your money? Why the other didn't lose money? One who suffers alone is paying back outcome of one's own past faults ultimately.
Oh.
The knowledge that this world is an orderly one lessens much of the sufferings. Shall I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. Suffering is the vitamin for self, and happiness is the vitamin for body. If one creates an atmosphere of suffering to the others, may lead to create sufferings from oneself only. I'd like to add one line in this. Whatever you practice, you will receive and you will know. Okay, ma'am, please continue, over to you.
Okay. Does anybody else want to read? Anyone? Sonam, do you want to read? Okay, I will continue. 237. The God is pleased with one who takes away sufferings
I'm
of
so
others.
sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Connected.
I connected through Bluetooth, so I was not able to talk. I am so sorry. Which one I have to read?
Read this slide, please.
237.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, okay. The God is pleased with one who takes away suffering of others and gives happiness to others. 238. If you give even a slight pain to any living entity, then that suffering will return to you in the same sentimental form of karma. Hence, think twice before you give pain to others. Should I read next one?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Point 239. What is a human religion? It is giving happiness to others. You become happy when you give happiness to others, and you get unhappiness if you make others unhappy. Point number 251. That which can cure all sufferings of the world is spoken as scientific knowledge. Point number 254. Pain and suffering are both illusory. In heat, you have illusion of suffering and feel like seeking happiness under the tree. But suffering follows even when you are made to sit there for long during the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonam.
Jai Sat.
Thank you so much for that, Jai Satchidanand. So I would invite each of you in the beginning, I asked each of you to think of 3 virtues, 3 positive traits about yourself that carried you through the most difficult times in your life. Would any of you like to share what those qualities, what those traits were? Chandrakanji, can you share?
I feel little bit shy to share the experience because it has now very slight memory of and to recall suffering. Still, I would like to say one thing.
Yes.
I was a very good listener, and I remembered one sentence that helped me a lot during the time of suffering. And the sentence is, this time too will pass. So I used to keep repeating this sentence in my mind. This time will pass. Wait, man, wait. It's going on. You are in the move. You are in the flow. So no need to lose your courage. And really, that time really passed away. And now we are at HSRC, so far away from any suffering. We have solutions. We have Dada Bhagwan's dictums. No, so now earlier even a small problem used to trouble us a lot, but now I feel whatever people call you suffering, it is really no more troublesome, nothing huge for us. So I completely have deep faith in this dictum of Dada that suffering is really illusory unless one has true knowledge that the sufferer is at fault. This sentence changed my life, madam, at all. The
I have to agree
sufferer
with you.
is at fault because that time a person blames other when he suffers too much. He holds other responsible for his troubles and problems, and he creates more and more what you call karmic debts in this way. That he is responsible for, my elder brother is responsible, my parent is responsible, but he doesn't accept the fact that whatever sufferings he is confronted with is only because of his own faults. Let me invite other participants also. Rishik sir, please share your experience, how you deal. You can also ask a question. Later we will take concluding comments from our Guru Lala Bhai Patel Sahib.
Okay.
Rishik sir, open up please.
So, hello, audible?
Yeah.
Okay, so story 2000 talking about. I was suffering from chronic pancreatitis, 2013-14, and I was about to die. It was almost I was about to die. I was living within a 10%. Then I told doctor that whatever you do it. Whether I die or not, doesn't matter. So this was the situation I was suffering. And at that time, I was, see, the spiritual, this was a practice, spiritualism, this practice I was doing since last many years. But I was not able to get the answer that why I am suffering. I have not done anything wrong with anybody, not even a small creature, right? And still I'm suffering. So the question's answer I was not getting at that time. But somehow I had a belief and faith in the God that whatever he does, he is doing very well. And then I joined HSRC, and then I got many an answer that why everything was there. And right now, if any problem or any troublesome situation comes, I simply smile and remain cool and calm. I do nothing. I simply pray to God. I simply pray to my gurus and Gurudev, right? And he takes care everything. So I'm the most happy person on the Earth planet, I must say.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Very well.
Great example.
Very well.
Wonderful. So am I correct to, if I understand correctly, it was your faith and your belief in yourself that carried you
Yes.
out
yes,
of that
yes.
situation?
Myself
Okay.
as well as the superpower, the Almighty God, whoever it is, whatever the name it is, right? So whatever he does at best. I'm at judging, and this carried me forward. So I must say this is my second birth. And that is why I am very much gentle and kind to everyone, because this second birth I am not owing. It is given by somebody else. So I should not be the peak of the ego and the other, like I can hurt to the other. So I'm trying to be so gentle with everyone.
And you are. Thank you for sharing.
Shaila, madam, I would also like to, I'm Sailia. I think Chandrakant ji had mentioned like going with the flow. I think that is one of the most important things that I have followed, because anything, you're going through we have to go through a lot of sufferings in this lifetime. There's no way we can avoid anything. So, but the only thing is patience, which has helped me a lot. And also understanding that there's a bigger scheme. There's everything is happening the way it's supposed to happen, and trying to accept it. It's difficult. I agree with, especially when you mentioned you're going through a lot of health issues, and that's where the faith and total faith in your guru and God, it helps. And also to understand that, okay, you know what, this too shall pass. Everything is going to be flowing. It's like a river. It's going to flow. So just go with the flow. I think that has helped me a lot, I feel. So that's one of the things that really attracts me. Dada's teachings is one of the key points. Yes, that there's justice in this world, because we are always quick to blame others and say, oh, we're trying to find fault with others. But we just accept that, oh, look at ourselves. It's all because of me. It's not others. So instead of playing the blame game, we just have to accept ourselves first. And then,
I love that.
yes, we are also at fault. Yeah, we are at fault too. Yeah. So I think patience helps a lot. and speaking less. I think words are, if the less you speak, I feel it more you utter, you go inwards, and then like let's say that you say someone says something to you, and the immediate the response, the ego will try to react. So at that moment, just control yourself, just count. I think the previous session we had talked about anger management and all that. So just count to 10, just for a minute, and everything will subside within you. So I think that has also helped a lot. And it
Very
has
well
been a very good presentation. A very good presentation. Thank you so much.
Very well said.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody asked.
Yes, Sachidanand.
Anybody else to reveal himself on the
Yes.
topic of suffering and how he dealt the situation?
Yeah.
Please,
I would
Sonam
like to
Ranawat,
share.
madam, please.
Yeah. So actually, I know the Hindi meaning of. I was aware about bhogvato, but like the word suffering, I was aware about suffering. But it like a few days ago, somebody highlighted this word because I am actually there in such a kind of situation as of now. So the day I came to know this word suffering, and it was like somebody told me that you cannot run away from whatever suffering comes to you. So then I just thought that what should I do? And I realized that it's all about dealing with our mind and giving commands to our mind and in the entire daytime. So the thing is, three things helped me a lot with this thing in this situation. One is to become independent uh, in all the aspects, whether financially, whether mentally, or whatever it is. Second thing, to become strong, again in all the aspect. And third thing is keep talking to our own self. These three things are helping me in such a way because whatever things Sonam is going through as of now is a very difficult situation, and uh, whatever thoughts keep comes in my mind regarding suicide and everything. I am able to deal with those thoughts also. So in
Wow.
short, basically, I am trying to observe my thoughts, and I am trying to tell those thoughts that you cannot decide what will happen in future. So thank you, and I am also thankful to the circumstances and situation, because what I feel is like this situation and circumstance has arisen to convert my weaknesses into my strength. So
That's
Very
beautiful.
well.
Very
Very
beautiful.
nice. The
Thank you.
self-motivated. Oh, very good.
thank you.
Well, I would like to.
Thank you for sharing, Sonam. Sonam, we really appreciate it. And we'll
Thank
keep you in the thoughts and prayers so that you're able to overcome this situation, because it sounds like it's pretty intense for you.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, this is the subject everybody is familiar with. So nobody is there who will have not to share anything. So I request others who have not shared, or else will believe that you have not suffered at all. So you have the most. Right? So the purpose is we can learn, like others shared that. It's an opportunity to learn from each other's, right? So, Dr. Nimesh, you have no
Yes,
support.
Thank you so much. Really a wonderful presentation, and probably too much to talk about, too many things that really resonated with me. So I'll pick one to discuss. One thing for myself, Nimesh, one issue that sometimes I notice in myself is with work. Sometimes I feel like too many things come to me. And why do people keep dumping stuff on me, Then I realized, okay, they're coming to me for a reason, because they need help, and maybe they think I can help in some way. So one of the points here about relieving suffering of others and bringing happiness to others, what I've realized is the more I focus on that and spending all my day helping other people, you don't have time at the end of the day to think and about all the things that are negative thoughts, complaining, all of that, because all of your energy is going towards helping others. So that's one thing I found is spending that time for other people doesn't leave any room for yourself to have those mental sufferings that pointed out.
Great, and you are in the line, no? That is your vocation.
Yes,
suffering.
I'm in a cancer line of work. So I see, cancer specimens. I do genetic testing for cancer, and I see cancer every day. So it's something that I try to think about. The point of that work is to help people, and that sort of helps me motivate myself as well.
That's a great thing. Yes.
My
And actually, it's an opportunity.
Yes.
Certain professions are an opportunity to serve. So automatically, without your knowledge, you go on advancing spiritually also side by side. When you are just decide to mitigate somebody else's sufferings, right? So that is a great thing. Right.
But that's true of any work, even anything you can think of, janitor, all the way to the CEO, to the top. Everybody is playing critical role to those functions. One thing I noticed during COVID time, they stopped the frequency of the sanitary services. They would only come a few days. So you'd come and you'd see everything piled up, dirty all over, and you really kind of realize what value people are playing. That when you miss them, what role they are playing every day. So, and any line of work that you're doing is an opportunity to help people, I think.
Thank you for sharing, Nimesh Bhai. May I ask, what are the 3 qualities that you uncovered about yourself?
Oh, that's a hard one. I need more time to think about that one.
Okay.
I think I need a little bit more time to think about that one.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
I think one thing is a introspection. So another point that you brought up, which is a really, really good point, is accepting yourself before accepting other people. And that's one thing that I had to work on as well, because my personality, I would say, tends to be different than many people. So one thing that I suffered from was, okay, why am I different? Can I do things to make myself similar to other people? Then I just realized this is the way Nimesh is. There are reasons for that, and sort of accepted that. But I guess that sort of is one thing that's helped me is being introspective, has helped me to kind of put that space into situations and sort of reflect and think about how those things are impacting me. And I think that sometimes is viewed negatively by other people, but for me, that's actually helped me in many situations. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. That makes perfect sense. And, it speaks to your elevated understanding of Dadaji's science. So thank you for sharing.
Anybody else?
Yes, sir. Namaste, sir.
Dr. Jireya, welcome. Please, we were waiting eagerly for your comments.
Where are you?
So I'm here, Jai Sachinanand to all.
Yes, you are speaking from Haridwar.
Yes, sir. From Haridwar, I'm speaking.
Right. Go ahead.
Yes,
from
sir.
Holy land, holy place. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All the sufferings end at Haridwar, huh, madam?
Yes, the sufferings are universal.
Right.
Sufferings is something which is universal.
Yes.
And one cause of suffering that I feel is that people feel deprivation. Means our previous generation, when they were lacking so much comfort, so much there were even with our previous generation, they faced a scarcity of water, scarcity of electricity, but they were not feeling that level of deprivation that we are feeling. If we have a phone, we still want a better phone. We don't feel that, yeah, this phone is all right, yeah, this car is all right, yeah, this home is all right for me, but we feel no, we can have more, we can have bigger one, we can have of better quality, of better kya bolte, brands. So no matter how much we have, still we have this very strong feeling of deprivation, and we keep on accumulating matter. And because of accumulating matter, most of our life is spent on organizing that matter, maintaining that matter, and disposing that matter causes pollution in the environment. So I because ma'am asked me the three qualities. So watching all these sufferings mainly because of this matter, so I adopted a minimalist life to have less and less possessions. And I resolved, it's my lifetime resolution that I will that there are few things that I will never buy, like a refrigerator. By having a refrigerator, we consume electricity, we eat stale food, and that is giving this chlorofluorocarbons, destroying ozone. And then I will never own a TV. I will never buy a TV. I will never buy a fridge. I will never buy a this AC. And there are few things which I will never buy. I have this my mother's car. So I think I will never buy a car because my mother's car is sufficient for me. It's a small Alto. I had come to HSRC also from that Alto. And I think my life, it's sufficient for my life. So I think one feeling is that people must feel that they have sufficient, they have this feeling that yes, this is adequate for them. But most of us feel deprivation in different things. We feel deprivation, and I think this is also one cause of our suffering. And another thing, another thing I want to say is that suffering now in this contemporary world, the sufferings have another nature also. A nature has changed. Nature of the suffering has changed because a person of values have to suffer a lot, because we are now surrounded with the people who are betraying us, who are deceiving us. There is a lot of corruption we have to fight with. There is corruption, environmental pollution, plus pollution in our thought process, and pollution in our actions. Our actions and our thoughts are also polluted. Everywhere we are surrounded with this pollution. There is bribery, there is nepotism, corruption, manipulations, betrayal. And now the nature, I think that the nature of the sufferings have also changed, and this क्या बोलते हैं, इसका intensity of the suffering has also increased. Although we have so much technologies, many things, many gadgets, technologies, then we have another thing, cyber crimes. And I feel very bad about the poor people who have very less money and they don't know how to handle the technology, and they become victim of the cyber crimes. So I feel bad for those poor people, village people, people from rural areas. They don't know how to handle the technologies, and they have smartphones. They have to use smartphones, and they don't know how to deal with these cyber crimes because of lack of awareness. So sufferings have increased manifold, many times have increased, and it becomes very difficult. Sometimes many times it become very difficult how to deal with these situations. This I want to share.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please, ma'am.
So you started out with your three virtues, and one of them was that you've developed a minimalistic lifestyle, which is beautiful. But at the same token, from what I hear you're saying, it sounds like it's also created an awareness in you of the mass suffering of those who are less fortunate than you are. And you are one person. So, and you have to draw the difference between compassion and feeling sorry, because if you feel sorry to the point where you become a victim of and you feel helpless, then that's not serving you. That's not adding value to your life. Does that
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sense?
Yes, ma'am.
So it
I'm
sounds like you're.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, please. Yes, ma'am. I'm not, whenever I am suffering, I feel that I am capable to handle these situations. What about those people who are not aware, who are from the rural background? What will they do in such a situations, which I find difficult to deal with? What they will do? So I'm not sorry for that what I am going through, but always whenever I'm going through any difficult situation, the first thought that comes to my mind is, okay, I can deal with it. I have the resources to deal with this. But what about those people who lack resources, who lack awareness? What do they do? Even a few days back, there was some problem in the bank. So these officials in the bank, they were deceiving me. So I was thinking, I know they are deceiving me. And what about the people who are not so aware how easily they can be manipulated? This was the first thought that came to my mind. Not about me, I am suffering this, yeah, I am facing all these manipulations, but always the first thought that came to my mind is that the people, what about the underprivileged people, unaware people, how easily they will get manipulated in such situations? How do they deal with this? These such thoughts come to my mind.
So that just speaks to your humanity, that you're just a very humane person that cares deeply about other people. So as long as those thoughts are not harming you, and you're able to logically think out, okay, well, what can I do to affect that? And know what your power is. Sometimes it might be as simple as taking 5 minutes and to pray for them. We have to draw those boundaries, because we all see things that pull at our heartstrings. We hear things, people tell us things that make us feel like we want to make a difference. But understanding that is Gnan, we have to also understand our own power and where that power lies. But thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, she has done a PhD in philosophy. Okay, I see how much she has imbibed, right? So, very good, Dr. Riti. Anybody else?
I can share. Jai Sachidanand.
Yes, Radha.
Jai Sachidanand, and Shaila, such a great presentation. I'm almost just overwhelmed with the discussion and everything. It's hard to even pick points to talk on. So I will focus on the 3 qualities, because I feel like suffering, like everyone has said, it's continuous. Sometimes it's more extreme than other times. But I would say that the qualities that I have grown because of the suffering is, one is surrender, like just the willingness to surrender to both the circumstance, but to the Guru, right? To Dada, to Kanu Dada, and surrender that whatever that suffering is, and the knowledge of knowing, who is actually suffering, right?
Yeah.
That's one. I would say the other one was gratitude, because like everybody said, suffering is such a great teacher, and it makes you thankful because it makes you seek answers, and when you seek answers, you are so grateful when you receive that wisdom, right? So all that suffering becomes worth it. You can't imagine your life without it. And so so sometimes people may say, like, you've been through all this, but how could you be grateful? Don't you miss people that passed away or whatever? I think those are very separate things, so I think gratitude is the second one. And then the third one, I think, is kind of what people are all talking about, is that connectedness, because it is universal. You're able to connect with other people who are suffering. And it may not be that you're always helping them. Sometimes you're just listening, but that it has made me more connected to others, surprisingly, suffering than, going to like a pleasurable event like a wedding. If that makes any sense. Sometimes you bond through suffering, you connect with others through suffering. So I would really say that's a quality that has kind of increased with suffering. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Rani.
enlightening
That
presentation.
everything you just said completely resonated with me, and I miss your dad so much as well. So I think of him often. So all the
Yes.
best, and thank you so much for sharing. Him and I became very close through our projects we did together, and
Thank you
he'll
for
always
joining
be.
also, Rani.
Yeah, Dr.
Yes,
Radhe is very dear to our hearts.
I wanted to say that, my dad would be so happy that these webinars are happening. He's been saying he wants
This
Shaila
what
to doing these. So
this is what he assigned me. Okay. He has
I
given me a long
know.
list of what he wants from HSRC. Right.
Your dad and I sat
We have
in
recorded
Lancaster.
everything. Okay. So
We
3
sat
days he was
together.
talking to us. 3 days. Okay. Why he has created HSRC. So very happy that you have joined. Let me conclude. I think you have told I have to respond to Shaila Ben's query. Say from my side, I can say I have suffered like all of us. Adi Vyadi Upadi means I have all the three. Everybody has. Okay, that mental agonies. That is the Adi, right? I was a banker all along, so banker is that life is full of Adi. May not be known to others, but it's really, if you land the money, you realize that the moment you land the money, you start worrying, So, and you are in the profession, right? So Adi, I have known very well, and that was, but one of the reason, what are the benefits that Adi drove me to Dada Bhagwan. Okay, he said, okay, you come to me and I'll make you worry free. I was a factory of all worries, all bankers, like everybody else. So those worries drove me there. There's no solution, no medicine for worries. Okay, you only just escape the worries. Okay, whatever we try something or cinema or this or TV, it's only escape, but all the worries are waiting to again ride on your head. So Adi, Vyadi, okay, sickness I also seen, right? Upadi, that also, you are in the world, it's like a traffic. If you ask me specifically, living in the world is like just driving the Surat traffic, very heavy traffic, you have to roam among so many people, disciplined, undisciplined, everywhere, you don't know. And after thinking, just one slide, only I have prepared out of this kind of churning of thoughts, that I was thinking that what are the core reasons for this suffering, for me at least. Then I found that I have not comprehended some laws of nature. Okay, and see, laws of nature, they are laws of nature. Okay, I believe or not, until I comprehend them, I will or adjust with them, I will be always suffering. Right? Say I am traveling in a train without a ticket, I will be suffering. Okay. It happens in India. Right? So that way, then I found that one prime reason for my suffering was and is sometimes is that I failed to recognize the uniqueness of every person. It has been mentioned and narrated by Shaila. Uniqueness, I am unique and everybody else is the unique. Okay, in this world, there is no case of a single recreation of a similar human being. If you compare last 10,000 years, there was no Lalabai kind of a person born ever in the past, not in the present, and never it will happen in future. So uniqueness. So I am a unique person. So I will have unique problems, unique nature, everything unique. And similarly, everybody else is. So my generalizing the people and expecting so many things as per my likings will not happen. Only it will give it will be resulting into my suffering only because of my foolishness. Because I refuse to acknowledge the uniqueness of people everywhere, maybe in the outside world or within the family. Right. Second thing I learned is that people are developing. Right. So once I understood that the people are constantly developing, say, take case of ourselves. What was our thinking before joining this session? And what will be our thinking after leaving this session? There will be some input has gone inside, and so many people, learned people have interacted. So that has resulted, I will be somewhat different from my former self. So that is what. So in that case, if I should be, I learned that I should be free from any prejudice because all prejudices are expired opinions about somebody because I saw somebody 2 years before and I'm holding that opinions and that I am suffering. Right. I am refusing to believe that he's a live person. He's not a say inert person, inert being. There is live. The moment you snap some opinion about him, he's not no longer so. He has improved a lot, like you have also improved. Similarly, so that is also there, right? Then the third point is the same, which has been already read out. Okay, different people use things differently. These are very simple truths, but it's a fact, and this fact has so many layers. Okay, this is a truth. And the more gradually we learn by experience that people, okay, they view the difference. So there is no question of imposing that you should view this world the very same way the other person also should view. It is not possible because Karunadadi, Shaila, when I explained, everybody is in a different space. Okay, this is the law of physics. Is there because there is a different space. No two people can occupy the same space. Definitely, you will. Then again, time, Dravya Kshetra Karva place, right? Just last time you said, no, I say good morning. People in India will feel bad that I am a fool. Okay, and Shaila Ben say it is all right because he has a morning. So this all views keep on changing because depending upon the place, person, and all these things. So this helps us gradually we learn and by some understanding it definitely removes or mitigates at least some suffering. And lastly, see, unless if we do not have suffering, there won't be empathy within us. We will become insensitive to others' suffering.
Good point.
And I think nature wants to make us realize. I read somewhere that in all religions, you see something common if you ask me, say fasting. Every religion in Christianity or Buddhism, Jainism, the most. The reason is you can feel the pain of hunger.
Wow.
Okay, and you can empathize with the others. and you will feel like helping them. Right? And if you feel like helping them, the moment you feel like that, like it is feeling, okay, that is a sensitive nature, no sensitivity. You feel something should be done for these people. And that creates that is just you are earning some meritorious karma.
Yes.
And you get such a position that you'll be able to help.
Yeah. Wow.
I've undergone this experience. My first career was I was dealing with poor farmers, tribals. I was going there, nothing, okay, they only one pair of clothes. Okay, nothing else. Okay, that is also single garment.
Wow.
I feel so much that I can't help them, right? But you see, just after some time I became a banker. And I helped so many poor people. I financed them left and right, I tell you. Okay. So the nature gave me the opportunity and I could sense their problems. Right. So this way, this is the beginning, but it has focused on a very crucial point. Right. If you are sensitive, then only we'll be able to help. You see, it is not only the rich people who are able to help. Right, unless you empathize with the others. And that will come through only suffering. So suffering is also in a way, maybe it's a kind of curing process of nature for us, for development. Right? With this, I think I've talked enough. Thank you everyone for very, very lively participation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shaila.
Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
for the
presentation.
opportunity. Thank you for
Thanks a lot.
allowing